Hey everyone, how are you? Hey, it's Carol J. Dunlop, your online wow strategist and is seven? Yes, best-selling author. How are you? I'm coming today. We are talking about one of the most boring, unexciting titles ever, and that is analytics. But we're also going to talk about how it makes your business grow. So that's what we're talking about. And the free tool that I will be explaining to you how to use and all of that is Google Sitekit. So just to let you know, Google Sitekit is my new favorite tool because I can tell so much about what my site is doing from using Google Sitekit. And I hope that you feel the same way, even though this is a boring, kind of like tedious, I don't know, mind thing. Whew, we need it because we need to look at it. So let's get rolling with it. All right. Let me move this up. So, what are website analytics anyway? Website analytics. And before I get started with this, make sure that you download your free Wow Website Planner. No cost to you at all. Just go to csicorporation.com/planner. So, whether you're watching this live, or you're listening later on demand, you can always go there and download it. We'll keep it there. So, website analytics is the engine that kind of runs your website and lets you know how your website is doing. Because a lot of times we'll just put a website up and figure that, hey, people will come. It's not true. They will not come because they don't know that your website exists. I had a client who's actually they're just starting their business, and they were talking about, hey, I don't want to get overwhelmed with things. I don't want just, hundreds of thousands of people, or they didn't really say that, but that's what you're thinking about. Because when you get something going, you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get this going, and it's going to be hundreds of thousands of people coming in, even if it's just tens of hundreds of people that come in. I am not ready for that. I've not practiced. I've not done whatever. And I told them, be assured that unless something happens that I don't know about, when we put the website up, ain't nobody coming to it. Nobody even knows it's there. There are millions of websites out there, and you have to do something pretty funky for you to, your website that is less than 6 months old to be even seen. I hate to break it to you, but it is the God's honest truth. For some reason, the rumor out there was that Google kind of put you in this sand pit, or what do they call it, sand lot or something. So all the websites just kind of rest there. And then depending on what you do to it, if you get traffic, you start getting traffic to it or whatever, it'll rise you up out of there. I don't know how true all that is, but I know, within your first 6 months, you're not going to do a whole lot. So you don't have anything to worry about, honey. I'm just telling you in general. But your analytics are what tells you what to do next with your website, whether it's adding more content, deleting content, what keywords are being searched. All that's what analytics are, and we do need them. So analytics help you make data driven decisions, and you don't ever want to just take content off, put content on, start creating all this new content, start thinking about all these great, awesome things you can do without some data to back it up. And the data meaning, are people looking for this? Do people want this? Are people thinking like, I found this. Wow, I gotta have it. Now I'm gonna pay for it. That's your thing. So if you go through the whole thing of, who am I talking to? Who is my audience? What is their biggest problem that they need solving, and how do I solve it? Then you can really do a whole lot with your data and make the decisions that you need. Because for instance, if your people are wanting sandals and you're making shoes, there's nobody that's going to come and look at your site unless they want shoes and not sandals. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's talk about setting up Google Sitekit. For the first thing is, Google Sitekit is so easy to set up. You just go into your WordPress website, you look into the plugin section, you look for Google Sitekit, just as you see it there on the screen, Google Sitekit. And then when it comes up, you just hit install. It kind of does its own thing, runs on its own. You don't have to do anything. So when you first ask it to install, and we'll go through the different sections that it's going to put on your site in just a second, but it asks you some questions that it says something to the effect of, Google is going to be allowed to see this. Is it okay? And you just really go through and say yes. And then there's another piece that says Google has access to 6 of these things. Can you give it access to 7? Just whatever you do, say yes, 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 yes. There's about 5 different screens. It's asking you to create an account. Yes. The only thing that you really have to do is you must have a Gmail account, because that's how Google ties you to everything. You need to have a Gmail account, so you need to already be signed in before you even download the plugin or anything, because if you don't, then you're going to have issues trying to connect. And you just look for connect my site, create my account, yes, accept all this stuff, and it does its little thing that it does, and voila, in just a few minutes you have Google Sitekit set up. So what else is in Google Sitekit? First of all, you can find out how your audience is growing. Now, this is from one of my websites. Is brand new, but it already has 20 users. Then you can see on the right, you can look at channels, you can look at locations, you can look at devices. It's broken down by direct, referral, and organic search. And even though this website is new, 10% of the traffic found it by referral, 5% found it from actually searching for it, but 85% went directly. That means that somebody put in that link and went directly to it. And you can see the thing is all over the place, because there's not a lot going on the site. But this is a good one for us to look at as an example. The other thing that Google Sitekit does is it tells you your traffic over the last period of time. And see in the bottom, I think it's right there. Yes, in the bottom left-hand corner, this is Search Console. Now, it used to be to set that whole thing up, but Google Sitekit has married together Google Search Console, Google Analytics into one Google Sitekit thing. So inside your website, in the back where your dashboard is, you can see what all's going on with your site. Look at who's coming, how many clicks they're making, how many new unique visitors you're getting to your website. Very easily, simply, right on point. And you can set up conversion events to track how well your site fulfills your business objectives. And that's another way to say, your goals. So you can click that button inside of that and set up conversions. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute and show you what it is, but it just allows you to do things that before it was just hurting my head to try to do. I'm telling you. The next thing it shows you is to see how your content is doing. Since this site doesn't have any content on it, can't do anything. But if you have a site where you've been blogging, or you're going to put some blogs on it, or even you're just starting and you see this yourself, you just rest assured that you will know when your content is up there, how many blogs you're putting up there, and people are coming to it, clicking from the internet or being referred or whatever. It will tell you what the pieces of the site are that people are most interested in. And then it breaks this thing down over the last, it says 28 days, right about a month. You can see this stuff in the analytics part, but it's not broken down so precisely as this is. So the titles, you can't see the titles, but you can see the page views, you can see how many sessions, you can see the engagement rate, the session duration, you could tell all of that stuff. Basically, this is data that you need to consider when you're making decisions about what to create next, what content to put on your site, because basically it's going to look at your pages and your posts. That's the content that website has. Now, if you put some other plugin in there, maybe you have even WooCommerce, it'll do that one. I'm getting ready to upload a video about my 5 best all-time plugins that I've used on my site forever, and Google Sitekit is on there. I go a little bit more in depth in how you can use it, but this is a thing. I love it. I love it. You can just look at it and see where you are, see what's going on, and not have to worry about, I don't even understand this stuff. I don't understand these numbers. What do they do? This is telling you. And then you can also see how your visitors experience your site. So they call this in the lab. They use this thing, the largest content page, which is the time it takes for a page to load. Right now it says 10.7 seconds. That was a long time, but it doesn't have that much stuff in there, and it's taking a bit. Now, I wouldn't like bet the farm on this 10.7 seconds. So not as long as your site comes up within about 30 seconds or so, you're going to be okay. If it's longer than that, ain't nobody going to stay around and wait. So we still got to work on some stuff. But my how stable the elements are on the page is good. And the total time, how long people had to wait after the page loaded before they could click something, was 150 milliseconds, which was good. So that's what I'm saying. You got to look at all these stats and see, because it'll tell you each individual page that it's happening to. Right there, it's telling you on mobile, then it has a desktop, and it also has a tab. If you look at the top, it says how to improve, and it tells you those things. So that's pretty cool. You can say, well, my test is not working. How do I improve this thing? This is what you do. And then if you have AdSense installed, which if you're going to do anything on YouTube, you're going to have AdSense, and this will tell you how much money you're making from your content. Now, if you don't have a YouTube account, that's fine. You can still run AdSense on your site. I do not run AdSense on my site. I keep all the money I can to myself, so I don't use that. I sell my own products and services. I do not use AdSense, but you're free to do it if you want. It's not going to hurt anything at all. Okay, so now we're going to talk about tracking conversions. It's okay to do the conversions. It's okay to talk about them, but tracking them, how are they really set up? How are things doing? So I'm going to go to I'm going to stop the screen share for a second because I have something else that I want to share with you. Let me see if I can get this window. Create share goals. Yeah, I think this is it. All right, so this is from Google itself. It teaches you, it shows you, instructs you how to create a goal. Remember, we were talking about conversions and stuff. This is going to tell you, there we go, how to create goals. Let me put it big so you can actually see what's going on. All right, so you're going to create a new goal. Now you're signing into Google Analytics. You're clicking on admin, and then you're navigating to view, and this is how you can set up a goal. And then I'm not going to read all this stuff, but you can see this is what you should be looking for. They have a template for you. So if you want to create custom goals, and your goals could be destination, like you want people to reach a certain page, duration, you want people to stay on your site for a certain amount of time, page screens per session, an event, maybe they played a video, maybe they downloaded something. So all those goals and those events, those conversion events, tracking conversion, those conversion events, you can track all of them using Google Analytics and using that page, which I'm going to put the link in the description when we finish here. So you can know exactly what it is you need to do and what goals you need to set up, how it's going to work. Then when you go back through your analytics, you can see, is the thing even working at all? Am I doing what I need to do? How am I getting people to the site? What are they doing when they get to the site? When I tell them to do something like click a link or download this, are they actually doing it? And then you can go back and see, out of all the people that came to my website and I told them to do this one thing, and only half of them did it, and then I made money from half of those. You see how the numbers are data-driven decisions? So now I'm saying, if they clicked on that video, they like that video, maybe I need to do another video. If they clicked on this blog post about this subject, maybe I need to double down and do more blog posts on this same subject. You hear what I'm saying? Because if you're looking at something and trying to see, how is this working in my business? How is this going? What do I need to do with this? Google Analytics is the place to go to tell you what you need to know. So let me stop the screen share on that one. And I want to go back to my PowerPoint because we were talking about tracking these conversions. It is really important to track them so that you can know that what you're doing is working. Who wants to be out there just working and doing stuff and nothing is happening, right? Or you're putting all this time into creating content, creating blogs, doing research, and it's not working. No one wants that. So how to grow? Basically, what I just said, and putting, getting that work done, putting in the work. What is it that you need to do? What are your goals? We got this website. And remember, you can download your planner. Just click the link go to the link on the bottom, csicorporation.com/planner. Yours absolutely free. So how are you going to grow your website, meaning get more traffic to it, make more money? All of that has to come into play. You use the analytics that you just got, or continually going up to see what's going on with your content, how many people are visiting, or people even coming to your site. Because sometimes people are like, you may get 10, 100 people one week, you may get 5 people the next week. It depends on your size. If you're just starting out, you're not going to get a lot of hits, as evident in the website that I was just showing you. But how can you increase that? So that's where, for me, how I increase my traffic to my website is by doing things or offering free products that give a lot of value. With free products, meaning things like summits, expert summits, I have to say, podcasts, and best-selling books. That's actually my best unmarketing strategy. So you create a best-selling book. It's not hard to do, especially you can do a low content book, you can do a medium content book, you can do a full book. It does not matter, really. You need to get the bestseller, because that's going to bring you up as the authority in the eyes of your people, right? So you're going to get this best-selling book that gives you the title of best-selling author, and immediately people are going to be like, you're a best-selling author? Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Because they know that a book is hard to write. Not only is it hard to write, it's hard to complete. Not only is it hard to complete, but it's hard to get the bestseller. No matter if you do know a lot about the algorithm in Amazon or the algorithm for the New York Times bestseller, which I have not gotten there yet, but when I do, I will let you know. But you're putting a lot of work into it. So you got the you got the best-selling book, right? So you know that people are looking at you like, oh wow, you got a best-selling book. That's awesome. That you've already got their ear and they're listening to see what you're going to say. And then you take that prestige and that authority that you've gained with that book and you create a podcast. A podcast is awesome because what happens with a podcast is every time you put out a new episode, you're getting into the ear of your client, potential client, or your prospect who is looking to solve their problem. Remember, I said you got to know who you're talking to, you got to know what their problem is, and you got to know how you're going to solve it. So with a podcast, you can get into their ear every single week by bringing out a new episode that's going to give them valuable stuff, valuable information that will help them. And then your next step is, and this can be accomplished in less than a year, like 6 months or so, because a summit is going to take you about 3 months to create. A podcast, you could probably do that 2 to 3 months. And let's just say you do 3 months for each one, because that's what I teach my clients. You take a quarter. Your first quarter is going to be your book. Second quarter is going to be the podcast. And third quarter, you're releasing the summit. And then the fourth quarter, you're kind of resting on your laurels. And you're like, oh, wow, I just made this money. I just built my audience up, or I made money and got my audience up. Now my authority, my prestige, my expertise is spread out. Because the third thing you do is the summit. And the summit is where you invite 15 or so people to, usually mine are from 15 to about 30. I do mine in one day. Some people do the recorded summits and, put the video up and let it last 48 hours. Then you go to the next one. But I use the summit because all of those speakers, let's say I get 30 speakers, they are marketing that summit to their audience and they're introducing me to their people. And I'm able to meet their people when they come to the summit. And then when they come to the summit, all these things, remember, it's free to attend the summit. It is free for you to listen to podcasts. Now, it's not free for them to download the book, but you could probably do like the Kindle version of the book and make it $1.99, $1.99, $2.99. You know, who can't part with less than $5, right? So they get into your world. So that is how you're going to grow. So if you take 1 year and do that, at the end of the year, you're going to be so much better off than you were. And then along the way, you keep up with your analytics because you're going to host your podcast on your site. You're going to promote your book on your site. You're going to host the summit on your website. So that's how you're getting all of those things to come in. And you got Google Sitekit that is in there just churning away at those analytics to tell you, hey, during your summit or the time the summit was running, you had this many people come to the site, you had this many people to purchase, and all that requires is, even if you don't have AdSense, you can hook up e-commerce to your Google Analytics. All right, so basically that is it for this session. I know this is a little bit shorter, but it's sometimes, the stuff that hurts your brain, you can't talk about it for too long because your brain's going to start hurting more and more and more. So what I want you to do is I want you to log into your WordPress website, and I want you to go to your plugins, and I want you to then download Google Sitekit, set it up. It's not going to take you but maybe 5 minutes as the most to set up. Then you're going to have to leave it and come back for a day, and it's going to tell you all the things that it knows about your site. And then on a weekly basis, you need to go back in there and see what's going on. The other thing I want you to do is set up goals. Remember, I told you at that one inside Google Sitekit, it says set up the conversions, which are really the goals. So you can set that up and see what is it that you want. If you have a specific page that you want people to download from or access, make sure that's one of your goals. So I would say maybe come up with 3 goals that you want. Maybe they can download this. The destination could be a goal. The time on the site could be a goal. And I forgot what the other one was, but choose. No more than 3 goals and see how you're going to get to it. I know I have one of my goals is when my audience reaches a certain amount of people who are the traffic to the site, then I get a message like, yeah, I met the goal. And then you just keep upping that goal. So if you're steadily increasing your traffic, make sure your goals reflect that in what you're doing. Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in so much. So I will be putting, as I said, I'll be putting the links in the description below because this is live. So look forward to be up there probably on Monday. I'll put that up there. And thanks so much. If there is a subject that you want me to teach on, a subject that you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments, because I want to make this really for you, to help you understand some things, because like I said, this is like the boring stuff, the tedious stuff, the things that we don't want to think about, but this is the engine that runs our site, so we got to think about it. Okay. All right. I'll see you next week, next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Bye for now.